I said, I heard it was a windmill. It's just overgrown right now with all the stuff. But it's massive, and it goes down under the ground. And there's I remember seeing it one time when it was more manicured, and the stairs were brick that went down underneath, and the railings up top and on the stairs were all like tree branches. It was like they took tree branches, they didn't do much with them, they kept them original, and they used them as railings in there. And there was a bench in there as well. I know I've got pictures of this thing. I'm gonna try to include them in this video. But there was a bench in there as well, made of the same, made of like tree branches and stuff. It was very, very cool and interesting. But they don't have it. It's way overgrown. I remember they used to keep it pretty manicured in there. But hidden away inside Cypress Lawn Memorial Park is one of the cemetery's most unusual and least known burial areas, the Fern Grotto, otherwise known to a lot of people as the Mystic Crypt. Unlike the grand private family mausoleums we've been exploring, the Fern Grotto was designed as an open-air garden crypt, blending architecture with the natural landscape in a peaceful setting. Although it's no longer used for new entombments, it remains one of the most unique and intriguing places in the cemetery, offering visitors a glimpse into an earlier style of memorial design. Join me as we take a closer look at the Fern Grotto and explore one of Cypress Lawn's hidden historical treasures. Let's get on with it. So we learned a little about the Fern Grotto. This area is to me, it's one of the most fascinating and one of the most mysterious spots in the cemetery. The story's kind of cloudy. It's kind of hard to find stuff, and when you do, you don't know how accurate it is. But I have read things that they stopped using it in the 80s because of what they called unstable water tables. I always come here to see if there's any status on them possibly cleaning it up inside, and even I would love for them to include it on a tour. I remember a while back I had emailed the cemetery and asked them, hey, I got a YouTube channel, how about some crowdfunding? I could maybe do some crowdfunding and get some money, get some volunteers down here to clean this place up. And they declined. So I would love, like I said, I'd love if this become part of the cemetery, because inside it has, it goes down some stairs, like over here, when you go into it, there's a brick stairs that go down, and it goes down in underground. It's open down there, but it's underground pretty much. And there's all these different crypts and these little family alcove areas. And from what I understand, when they did stop using this area, I guess they moved everybody to different parts of the cemetery or a different section of the cemetery or whatever. That was like some of the cloudy story that I got about this place. I've seen other people do a couple YouTube videos here and there on it. I've been here myself and done a video or two, but I always come every once in a while and just check the status of it. Just for shoots and giggles, And sometimes when you come, they have it all clipped and manicured in there, and you could totally see. And sometimes it's full of overgrown greenery, and you can't see a damn thing. But yeah, I think I'm going to include some pictures somewhere in this video of this place. Somebody said that this tower right here used to be a windmill as well, the tower part of it. But there's been people that gain access through, I've seen people do videos that have been since taken down by YouTube, maybe by YouTube, or maybe the cemetery complained and YouTube pulled them, about people jumping over the fence here and, at the end of the path and getting in, but it's dangerous. It's overgrown. You don't know what kind of plants or animals or bugs or whatever's in there. To me, it's dangerous. It's, goes against what the cemetery wants. It's trespassing. So I would never do that. Somebody told me one time I had to get in, and I'm like, yeah, but I'm not trying to trespass for any content. That's just not my thing. I always try to keep it above board. I'm not downing anybody who may have done this in the past, but I always try to keep things 100% legit. I would like to be welcome back to the cemetery. I don't want to be banned or anything. The internet's a very public place, so if you do something like that and post a video, there's a good chance somebody from the cemetery might see it, and then they could probably prosecute later. Because I've heard of like some urban explorer types that explore abandoned properties and buildings and this, that, and the other, getting prosecuted like 2 years later after publishing a video because they got, the owner or whoever finally came across it, or somebody who knew the owner came across it and told him. So I don't do stuff like that because it can come back to haunt you as well. So this is just beautiful here. Let me... I'll get a closer look at it, but this tower right here supposedly was a windmill at one time. That's the story. Don't know how, accurate it is, but, Let's go back around. Let's get a closer look at it. Look at the path here. It's a beautiful, like a stone path. It's dirty. It kind of needs to be washed down as well. But this is like a beautiful area. This base is stone. So yeah, like I said, I heard it was a windmill. It's just overgrown right now with all the stuff. But it's massive, and it goes down under the ground, and there's I remember seeing it one time when it was more manicured, and the stairs were brick that went down underneath, and the railings up top and on the stairs were all like tree branches. It was like they took tree branches, they didn't do much with them, they kept them original, and they used them as railings in there. And there was a bench in there as well. I know I've got pictures of this thing. I'm going to try to include them in this video. But there was a bench in there as well, made of the same, made of like tree branches and stuff. It was very, very cool and interesting. But they don't have it. It's way overgrown. I remember they used to keep it pretty manicured in there. But, yeah. The bench is over here somewhere behind all this brush. But I'm going to try to zoom in on stuff in here. I can see some of the, look like the crypt areas in here. Let's try to zoom in. I don't know if you guys can tell. That's as far as I can zoom in. But you can see some of the tree branch railing in there as well. But it's hard to see. But there's, when it was more manicured, you could totally see ahead and see the stairs going down inside of it. But yeah. And they call this the Fern Grotto, or the Mystic. I guess it's developed a name over the years too as the Mystic Crypt area as well. But I had found out through a tour on Cypress Lawn they call this the Fern Grotto. So, but yeah, it's all down, and there's just all kinds of open crypt areas in here. And I guess if there were people in here, I heard they took them out in the 80s. I guess maybe when it rains they have problems in here with the thing flooding. I don't know. But a very, very interesting area here. But I would love for them, like I said, to get this thing cleaned out somehow. Include it in a tour, Make it safe, I even, when I was talking to them about that, I even said, hey, I'll sign a waiver. If I can, people can sign waivers if they want. Just get in there and get some volunteers, get some funding through crowdfunding, get some people in here, or if not just the cemetery crew, they could pay cemetery crew to get in here and clip it out, clean it out, and make it part of their tour, because they do a trolley tour here, and they point out, like I do, they go around and point out all the notable people, all the silver barons and the lumber kings and all these people that are in the cemetery. They do that. It would be awesome if they could do this, get it cleaned up, and make it part of the tour. So look at it. Somebody wrote in like some kind of Sharpie up here. I don't know if you can see it. The crypt. And then it says "Do not enter." Of course, like I said, I would never do that. I don't play around like that. You know, and like I said, I'm not downing people who take chances like that, but I just know stuff like that, from what I understand, could come and haunt you, you know, some years later as well. Let's see. It's just a beautiful area, and like I said, when it was all in there and clipped and, you know, manicured, it's a beautiful area. And like I said, that bench they got in there that was overgrown by a lot of the trees and the bushes, that bench they got in there, it was just like, you know, it was a cool, everything is made of like tree branch in there, and they don't do much to alter it. You could tell it was a tree branch. I zoomed in on some of that stuff that I could see today. I hope you guys could at least saw some of it. Like I said, there's pictures. Hopefully I could drop them in the video. I gotta find them. I gotta dig the pictures out and all that stuff. But I was only able to get pictures through the gate, you know, so wasn't a whole lot of pictures I was able to get. But you know, at the time I was there, it was clear, it was clean in there. It was, you know, and with all this wet weather over the last couple of years, yeah, it got overgrown, and this isn't exactly on their to-do list. If they're not going to use it, you know, it's not on their to-do list. I wish it was. Like I said, I keep repeating myself because this is such a beautiful area. And then they got this stuff all the way around. I wish they could just clip it all back and we could see it. It would be such a cool thing. But, you know, it's not in the cards right now for the cemetery, you know. I'm sure they got a lot of expenses. The upkeep here is probably ridiculous. From what I understand, groundskeepers get paid pretty decent. And from what I understand, it's a union job, you know. So they've got a lot of expenses here, you know, at this place. There's a little bit of an opening here, but I don't think we can see anything. It goes down, though. You could totally tell. I don't know if we can see anything, but yeah, it's hard to see. I could see the naked eye. I could totally see some crypts down there, but it's just probably barely make them out. You guys could probably barely make them out, but anyway, that was the Mystic Crypt, or officially, from what I understand, the Fern Grotto. That's one of the one thing about the cemetery. That's one of my fascinations. That's one of the wish bucket list things I can get done, is be able to go inside. I even asked him if I could just have a guided tour inside. Who the hell am I? But I even asked. I'll sign a waiver. I'll wear a hard hat. If you know, cemetery personnel, of course, let me in, but come with me and guide me. It would be awesome. But I get it. Liability. You know, it's old. It's rickety, I'm sure, in there. And they just don't want the hassle of someone getting killed or hurt in there, I guess. Well, guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. In this cemetery, that's one of my loves right there. The Fern Grotto. That's one of my loves. Mysterious. I saw one time somebody had a video they posted on YouTube and it quickly disappeared. But the guy got in there, got down the stairs, got into like the family alcove. There was looked like little rooms off to the sides, like those little family alcoves. But it's after a short period of time, it disappeared. So I don't know if the cemetery caught wind of it, saw it, and had YouTube pull it down saying trespassing. Maybe that poor guy who did it, for the thrill of it, who knows, maybe he got prosecuted. I don't know. All I know is that video was awesome as hell, but it has disappeared really quick after being published. All right, guys, I am out of here. Thank you all so much. You guys are awesome, spiffy, and all that good shit. And I got to get out of here because my ass is going to be late for work, but that's okay. I'll be a few minutes late to work because I love this stuff. And long after I'm done working, I will be doing this. So, I'm a pretty model employee. I don't ever get in trouble. I'm pretty legit with my. I got dirt on my bottoms. My shit, I can feel it. Go through the grass and rub it. But I'm a pretty model employee, and I've been there 37 years. I don't think they're gonna fire me. They don't got the guts. Whether the stories surrounding the Fern Grotto are fact, local tradition, or a little bit of both, it remains one of the most intriguing corners of Cypress Lawn Memorial Park. And sometimes, the unanswered questions are what make places like this so fascinating. Thank you for joining me, and I'll talk to you later.